Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Me First Mornings. I am your host and energy alchemist, Patricia Ribeiro Wolfson. I'm an intuitive coach and energy healer, a wife, and a mom of 3 boys. And it is my mission to help you calibrate your energy, to help you integrate self-care into easy, doable steps, and how to shine your light on the world in your own unique way. That is my mission, and I hope you are here to accept this mission. Well, it's my mission that I'm sharing with you, so I hope you join me in learning about some of the things that I like to talk about on this show. They are always empowering and motivating, or at least that is the goal. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do that now. Smash that subscribe button. Go to YouTube at Jumpstart for Change, or go to Jumpstart for Change on YouTube and just smash that subscribe button, blah, blah, mouth isn't working yet. Smash that subscription button and ding that notification bell so that you can be notified anytime that I go live, which is Monday through Fridays at 10 a.m. here on Facebook and YouTube. You can find me in the mornings for our little morning routine. And so today, what are we going to talk about? Well, today's topic I'm really, really passionate about because it is the killer of joy. And that is comparisonitis, right? Us having that deep, deep desire to compare ourselves to other people to sort of get a frame of reference as to whether or not we're doing okay. And, that is one of the ways that we survive in a community, in a neighborhood, in amongst our people, right? That is a survival instinct, is to be able to look. That's how we learn. Even as babies and as children, we learn by looking at other people, seeing what they're doing, mimicking and copying. But when it is not serving the purpose of teaching us something specific, it can be very dangerous for us to always use other people as our tool of measurement for our own success. Because no matter who it is, even if it's someone in your own family member who was raised the same as you, you are completely different people. There is nobody that you can technically compare yourself to. You can aspire to be or do or have something similar to someone else, but then you have to find your own path to getting there. You have to figure out what your unique gifts and talents, what are your challenges, what are the things that you have to face, because it's going to be different. It's going to be energetically different, and very often it's going to be physically different. It's going to be different on many, many levels. And so you have to calculate your own path, right? This is why I focus so much on the GPS system here on the show and talk about the GPS system, because it is something that I find really, really helpful. It is a tool that you can use any day at any moment to bring you back to your own personal anchor, to bring you back to center, to let you know, okay, this person may have all these things and perhaps you want to have the same things as this person. But we are usually making assumptions about, the other person's life in what it feels like to have all those things. And let's talk about, money, and let's talk about people having actual things. It is easy for us to make assumptions or come up with our own stories about what it's like for someone to have a crap ton of money, right? Endless oodles of money at their fingertips, right? But we don't actually know what it's like for them to live like that on a daily basis, or what struggles they have to face, or what challenges they have to face, or what demons they struggle with in their own life, that has nothing to do with money. That maybe people without money think, well, money would solve that problem. And that could be true to a certain extent. But you cannot fake energy. You cannot fake solutions, right? Money does not solve everything, and it certainly does not take care of your internal emotional well-being. It does not take care of your mental well-being. It absolutely can take care of you on many, many different levels. But just having money does not solve any, does not solve all of your problems. We'll say that, okay? Is it easier? Yes. In the way society has been structured in our system right now, money makes things easier. But this is not about that. Or this discussion is not about whether or not money makes things easier, but more so the focus on being, instead of it being like, I want more money for whatever reason, but think about how are you going to feel when you have that money? What does having that money, what does it do for you emotionally, mentally, physically even? Like, what is it that you're able to do? And what is that feeling that you have when you have the money? Right? Is it comfort? Is it security? Is it safety? What is the word that comes up for you? Maybe it's freedom. That finally, if you have a certain amount of money, you feel like that will give you the freedom to be who you want to be, the freedom to have choices, the freedom to be able to do many different things. So why I focus on the GPS word is because in our pursuits, in our personal pursuits, right? Not just personal, professional, whatever kind of pursuits that you are pursuing, it is not the thing that you're pursuing that really matters the most, but it is the feeling that we're trying to capture, right? It is how we want to feel once we achieve those goals, those dreams. That's what we want. And so that is what the GPS system does, is it centers the feeling versus the person, place, or thing that is the target, right? The target being the feeling. It's the anchoring feeling. And so this way it gives you something to always anchor yourself to each and every day, because if you are looking for more money, for example, then if you don't have that money, then each and every day you're feeling the lack of that money, right? Because you want to bring in more, you want to bring in what you have. You want to create what you have to attract more of what you want, right? But if you're thinking what I want is money and you don't see money coming to you from any part of, your life, then that can be really disconcerting and disappointing and can leave you feeling deflated, right? And with not much hope, right? And that energetically is not going to propel you to move forward. It's not going to be inspiring to you if you're looking at your, bank account every day and saying, this doesn't look anything like what I wish it would look like or what I want it to look like. However, if you are going for the feeling, and that feeling is freedom, right? You might not have the money, but that you can say to yourself, how can I bring freedom into my life today? Where can I make choices today that make me feel free? What can I do with this particular challenge so that I feel like my choice is coming from a place of freedom? That is how we introduce that into our lives each and every day. Now, this isn't the topic at hand. Of course, the topic at hand we're talking about is comparison, right? And the comparison is that heavy energy that keeps us stuck or anchored to a specific idea, right? And when we're comparing ourselves to someone else, we are comparing ourselves to a half-truth. Now, what I mean by that, a half-truth, and that's why it energetically is not sound, is because no matter how well you know somebody, even if it's your best friend, even if it is your life partner, you cannot know what's going on with them energetically. You do not know absolutely everything that goes on into their minds. You may not even know absolutely everything that's happened in their life. You may not know what kinds of trauma may live within them, or the things that they have dealt with that maybe they're not ready to discuss, or maybe they don't even know they want or need to discuss it to work out some of those energetic blocks, right? And so to compare yourself to someone else, you are just comparing a part of what you see. You're only comparing what you see, and you're only comparing a sliver of their life to your life, right? And so that becomes this distorted perception, right? I could be, the same age as someone else and see another woman like myself who maybe has 3 kids, who has accomplished, financially so much more. Maybe she's just, so much more, in relation to, what society has taught us as success, right? So let's say there's a woman out there just like me, around my age, grew up similar to me, and she has 3 children, and she is the CEO of a company, and she seems to be super, super successful and has all our ducks in a row and everything all together. And I've had this happen to me before where I look at someone, I'm like, oh my God, they really have their shit together, right? And then you sit down and you talk to this person and you have a one-on-one conversation and you realize that they struggle just as much as you do, but in different ways. So this part of their life, maybe their business life, their professional life looks, really, really put together, like they got their stuff together, they're doing the right thing, they're making money, they're, movers and shakers in the industry, they're inspiring, right? But there's always other things going on in their life that we don't know. Maybe their entire focus has been this part of their life, and other parts of their life have not gotten the same focus. Or maybe they have, but they struggle for different reasons and in different ways. So it's really, really just not, it is counterproductive to compare yourself to anyone else, because as I said, you have no idea what it took for them to get to where they are or what challenges they still currently face. So one of the things that I always say, which is the biggest benefit to us when you are comparing yourself, the only thing you should be comparing yourself to is is taking a look at and reflecting on how far you have come, right? Where you were 5 years ago or 2 years ago or 6 months ago versus where you are now. And even then, we have to be really careful with when we are comparing ourselves, even to ourselves, because, 2 years ago, life was very different for us than it is right now. So there may have been things that you could accomplish much easier 2 years ago before the pandemic. A lot of things were different, right? And you may not be able to accomplish things in the same way right now because life is different. There is this hum of trauma. There is this hum of chaos in the world right now. And so if you are beating yourself up about not being as productive as you used to be, or not really being as organized as you used to be, or not having things the way you used to have, you also have to take into consideration what you have been through, what we have all been through collectively. But putting that aside, think about just yourself. Think about who you were 5 years ago. Think of who you were 10 years ago. Think of how you have evolved as a person. Think of, what things no longer trigger you. Think of how you have changed your thought patterns about certain things in life. Think about how you have evolved and learned, whether you've learned about new things or modalities or interests, or whether you've just learned about other people's perspectives and you've decided to sit and take the time to learn about things from someone else's viewpoint. That is progress. That is you evolving as a human on this planet. That is you contributing to the betterment and the personal evolution of everyone. Well, personal evolution and the evolution of everyone on this planet. So I am sure you can look at yourself right now, and no matter what you have gone through in your life, you can find evidence of evolution. You can find evidence of progress. You can find evidence of your transformation, because that is what we are all in the midst of. We are in the midst of great transformation right now. Good morning, Meredith. I'm so glad you're here. So it's really important that, sorry, my candle just made a mess on my tape. Anyway, doesn't matter. It is really, really important, and I urge you to not ever compare yourself to someone else. Yes, have a mentor. Yes, have people that you aspire to be like, maybe people whose footsteps you want to follow, in business or even in personal stuff, right? You may see someone and be like, wow, I aim to be like how that person handles things. I really love how that person handles, challenges in their life. Or I really love how that person, was able to use their voice in this particular situation. And you can use that as inspiration and motivation for you to, raise your vibration, or for you to step into your own personal evolution, but don't use it as a comparison, right? Because we are not like anyone else. I mean, we are all connected and we are all one, but we are all different. We are all different facets of the same oneness. And it's really important that we stay connected to our uniqueness and that we validate our own experiences and our own personal evolution and not compare it to anyone else's experience or personal evolution. We don't know what their mission is on this planet. We don't know what their impact is supposed to be for the highest and greatest good of all. And you don't know what yours is either. Because if you were really sure of who you are and what your impact is, then any challenges you face, well, not that they wouldn't faze you, but you would know that they are part of your simulation, right? Your life simulation of getting you expanded and for you to practice new tools and new strategies for you to be able to evolve as a person for this next phase of your life, to bring you the things that you want. You would absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt that anything that is meant for you will not be kept from you. You would know without a shadow of a doubt that everything you do is connected and it is a part of your journey. And whether you are in the ups or downs part of your life, it is all part of the beautiful frequency, right? Like think of when you see a heartbeat, right? When you see like the visual representation of a heartbeat, where there's like boop, 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 right? It's ups and downs. It's ups and downs. That's life. We are like the heartbeat of humanity. We're going to have ups, we're going to have downs, but we keep going and we keep moving forward and we just keep, bouncing, right? But I can't compare my heart pattern to anyone else's heart pattern. I don't know what they're dealing with. I don't know how their body processes things. I don't know how their heart beats. And sure, everybody's heart beat more or less the same, right? Ba-boom, 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 right? And there is definitely a range that is a good range for a heartbeat, right? And you don't want too many highs and you don't want too many lows because you want a steady beat. Just like in life, right? We're trying to all get our own steady beat, but the beat is yours. And you get to choose what that beat looks like and what that beat sounds like and how you can embody that heartbeat in everything that you do. Your own uniqueness should be entrenched in every single thing that you do because you are the embodiment of spirit. You are the embodiment of love and light through your particular filter, right? Through who you are, through this vessel. This vessel, shoots out light in this particular way. And for me to compare my vessel and how my light comes out versus someone else is the same as a tree comparing itself to a bird, right? The bird shines its light and participates on this planet in the way that it does. It has wings, it can fly, it contributes in the way that it does. And a tree does not have wings and does not fly, but stands strong and gives us oxygen, right? Each one has its own purpose. Each one integrates into the world and contributes to our planet in their own unique way. And it is no different for us. It is no different. So if you see somebody and you go, wow, they're amazing. They look like an eagle soaring in the sky. You don't have to be an eagle to be worthy or valued. You can be a turtle. You can be a snake. You can be a tree. You can be a tulip. You can be whatever it is that you are. And connecting with who you are and truly understanding how it is that you shine your light, how you can thrive as a person in this world, that is the secret, is you connecting to how you thrive and how you show up in the world and being able to shine that light as brightly as you can from your vessel, from your vantage point, with your perspective and your unique lens. That is how we can all exist together, knowing that each one of us have our own perspectives, each one of us have our own way to contribute to the planet and to humanity. And if each one of us is doing our best to participate in the best way we know how, then everybody wins. That's like my solution at home. As I always tell my boys, figure out a solution where everyone wins, because there is a way where we can all win. We just have to kind of figure out what that is. But there is win-win situations in just about everything. It just takes a lot of personal introspection, evolution, and it starts with each one of us first, because when you yourself are really clear on who you are, on how you contribute to this world, and you're confident in your worth, well, then you will never want to take anything away from anyone else, because you are super clear. You are not living in lack. You will be living in the abundance of who you are. And if each person lives in the abundance of who they are never in lack and never trying to take or steal or infringe on anyone else, because there's no purpose to that, because we are focused on being who we are. Okay, so yes, good morning, Leslie. Thank you, Meredith. I appreciate that. All right, so let's do our little morning ritual. I know I started my whole thing with talking about it, but I feel really, really strongly about us comparing ourselves to other people, because I hear that the most out of anything. When I speak to, of course, friends and family, but clients especially, there's always like, well, I see this person, and especially with social media, it's so easy for us to compare ourselves to, someone else's curated social media representation, right? To, who they are on the surface, right? And some people show a little bit more of who they are, but generally speaking, we're only seeing what they want us to see, what each person wants us to see, myself included. I'm not going to put all of my, stuff that I talk about. I'm pretty open here, I'm pretty much an open book, and there's a lot of things that I discuss and say and share. But of course, there's things that I don't, because, everybody has their own life and their own personal situations that they're handling and dealing with, right? So there's things that you just don't know, no matter how open or upfront somebody may seem on social media or otherwise. I mean, there's plenty of people that that are neighbors in the community, where it's all of a sudden something happens and you're like, wow, I had no idea that was going on for them. Oh, wow, I didn't know that, that could happen. Well, we don't know. So because we don't know, then we also can't compare. It is unfair of us to compare ourselves to anything else other than what we know for sure, which is ourselves. So when you are comparing yourself, compare yourself to where you were 5 years from now, to where you were 10 years from now. Compare yourself to, where you were a month ago. Even if you're making tiny, tiny incremental progress, that is still progress. That is still moving forward. And if you're not, then be kind and compassionate with yourself and get to the bottom of what's keeping you from taking incremental steps, okay? Because that's important too, because that is something that you need to tend to. And once again, it is cruel to compare your struggles or your life to anyone else, because you have no idea the ins and outs of their situation. Okay, so thank you for listening. Good morning, Mom. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I see you've been listening. Thank you. And I'm going to light our candle, and we're going to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to set ourselves right for the day. We're going to set our intentions for the day. I'm going to put on some essential oils, and we're going to do this together. And we're going to set the intention to hold ourselves in the highest grace, and not compare ourselves to anyone else, because it is pointless. It really, really is, because you really, really just don't know what other people are dealing with. And even if you think you do, you don't. And it's not fair. It's not fair to yourself. Even, when you think of, as a mom with children, I look at my children, and all 3 children are very different. And how one child, showed up when he was 12, is different from how another one shows up when they're 12 or 5 or any age, right? And so to compare the two, I have 3 boys, to compare my 3 boys and to, sort of pit them against each other in comparison is just not right. And it's cruel, because they're different. They process things differently. They're completely different people. They have their own mission, their own purpose, and their own way of doing things. And here is children that came from the same mother and father and came, raised very, very similarly 2 years apart, and still it is unfair of me to even think of comparing them. And so therefore you should not compare yourself to anyone, not a sibling, not a friend, not people you don't know, especially people you don't know, whether they're famous or they're just internet famous or, Facebook people that you follow or social people that you follow on social media, if they're influencers, what you see is not the whole picture. It is never the whole picture. Never. In all of my experience in meeting people, famous and not famous, what you see is never the whole picture. And so you have to give yourself grace and also give them grace, because sometimes people showing up, influencers, famous people, whatever, they're human too, and they process things in their own way too. And to put anyone else on a pedestal so that you can compare yourself to someone, or putting them on a pedestal where they can come crashing down when their humanness shows up, that's just not fair. It's not fair, because we all struggle. We're all human. We're all having a rough time right now. So love and compassion is the key for everyone. Okay. All right, so here we go. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. I've got my crystal spheres that I like to use. You don't need to use anything. You can just put your hands on your lap, face down, face up, or in a mudra. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. The point of this is we're going to get ourselves, of course, centered, calm, and clear. Okay, we want to clear the vessel. We want to connect with spirit, and we want to charge up for the day. That is our goal, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just imagine that the top of our head opens up. And as we take a deep breath, we are going to just imagine that the sun with the brightest light, that healing light, just pours into the top of our head like liquid sunshine. And that powerful light is going to fill our body, permeating every single cell and just blasting it with light. And it is going to break apart or dissipate any stuck, stagnant, or dense energy. Anything that doesn't belong, that doesn't feel right, or anything that you are ready to let go of. And when you exhale, you are going to release all of that excess energy, breath, anything that does not serve you. Okay, here we go. 1 big, big breath, and let's do this. And hold. And release. Beautiful. Now keep your legs well planted on the ground. We're going to do another deep breath, but I want your focus to go to your feet. Well planted on the ground, of course, we are going to imagine that our feet are just picking up that beautiful life force energy that comes through the ground, right? Through like the center of the earth. We're just going to imagine a root coming up and through the bottom of our legs into our, up our legs, up our whole body, permeating every single cell. This powerful, powerful life force energy flowing through us, once again, breaking apart any stuck, stagnant, or dense energy that does not belong or that we are ready to release. Let's do that together. Deep breath in and hold. And release. Beautiful. Okay. Now we're going to take one last deep breath, and I want you to make it count. I want you to bring in the breath like you are calling in all of the love and light, that life force energy, that healing light. I want you to fill your body with it and imagine just it glowing from the inside. At the same time, it's going to come pouring out and protecting you in a bubble of light. So we're going to call in all of that beautiful healing light energy, and we're going to surround ourselves with it so that we can protect ourselves for the day. And I'm doing this because this is how I imagine it. As we breathe in and then out, we're going to release it, and it's going to cover our whole bodies and protect us. Okay, here we go. Deep breath in and hold, filling your body with light and with life force energy. Hold and then release. Whew, okay, that felt good to me. I hope that felt good to you too. Now we just do a little stretching, because just as we are clearing and cleansing our vessel, we want to make sure that, we are also just flowing, right? We're using our vessel to flow. So we got to take the kinks out of the hose, so to speak, right? Like a water hose, it's got kinks in it. The water doesn't flow as freely through the hose. Well, this body is our vessel, and it's like our hose. And the energy, that love and light that flows through us from the universe, from the heavens. That is like the water flowing through our hose. So we need to take out the kinks, right? Anything that's sort of like blocking that energy from flowing freely. That's why we do the stretching, okay? And then we just release it. Anything that feels tense or any discomfort, we just want to release it as much as we can and then shake it out. Oh my God, guys, I'm so behind on the show today. I think it was all the talking about comparison. All right, so we did all that. Let's say our prayer, and I will pull a card because that's my favorite part. So let's just say our prayer right now and set our intentions for the day. For those of you who have not yet downloaded my GPS, free GPS workbook, you can go ahead now and do that and figure out those questions and figure out your GPS word for the show tomorrow. So you don't need that word today. Today, you can just set the intention of how you want to feel for the day. Or of course, set your intention to not feel the need to compare yourself, but to simply honor who you are. Divine Mother, Infinite Father, Creator, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Spirit Guides, Ancestors, and all beings of 100% pure white light, allow me to be a clear and open channel of your light and love without hesitation or ego. May the highest vibration of infinite consciousness connect with my higher self and release any and all things that no longer serve me. I ask that Saint Germain and his infinitely powerful violet flame burn away the things that no longer serve myself or humanity and hold us back from our divine existence. Help us to embody our intentions for the day and help us raise the collective vibration for the highest and greatest good of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So be it, and so it is. All right. Let's rock and roll. All right, I'm pulling a card and then we're done. I know, I held you a little long today, but I appreciate those of you who have stuck around to wait. Let's see what the angels have to say to us about this topic, about the comparison topic. Seriously, people, don't bother comparing yourself. We're all the same, and we're also all unique, right? We all have the same feelings, the same hurts, the same emotions that run through us. We really do, but we are not the same. We are each uniquely different, and it's important to honor that uniqueness and to validate how we contribute in a different way, each one of us. At least I think that that's important. And when you validate your own uniqueness and understand that you may not be the same as other people, or that you process things differently, or that you are not in a race, but you are on your own race with yourself to, not really a race, but that the only person that you're comparing yourself to is who you have been and how you have evolved over time. When that is your only basis for comparison, you will feel satisfaction much quicker. You will be able to validate everything that you have done, and it's so important for your process, right? For all of us to process. How can you move on and achieve what you want when you do not acknowledge what you've done, right? It's really hard. And what's worse is that then it's also takes away the joy of doing it, because you're always just looking forward and looking to see what you haven't accomplished yet, versus being able to reflect and look back and say, hey, I've done so much already. And since I've already done all this, I know I'm capable of doing a lot more. And that becomes much more motivating and inspiring, because you're using your own past experience as your litmus test versus someone else's experience who you don't have the full picture of anyway. All right, here we go. Pull a card. I love this card, the compass. All right, so this is the Enchanted Map deck from Colin Baron Reed, and the compass is actually on the cover because it's super important. The compass is your true north, and I love that this card came up right now, especially when speaking about comparison, is because you need to be guided by your own internal compass, and it is totally connected to what we talk about here on Me First Mornings every day with the GPS system. That GPS system, that word, that anchor that you come up with, that is your compass. That is your true north. And if you are always calibrating to your own true north, to your own compass, then you are always heading in the right direction. And you don't have to worry about what other people are doing. And you don't have to worry about, what people are accomplishing or not accomplishing, because you are on your own path. And you have no idea what treasures and miracles and surprises await you on that path. Will there be challenges? Of course, because that's life. We live, we learn, and we have to expand. And in order to expand, we have to go past our comfort zone. And so we need to be aware of that. And sometimes when we are struggling to get past our comfort zone, or when we are in the process of transformation or expansion, it can feel like life is hard. It can feel like we are being abandoned by our spiritual support team. It can feel like we are being abandoned by people in our lives because they may not know how to handle that transformation. But stay true and stay strong to your own internal compass, because when you keep your eyes on the prize being how you want to feel, how you want to embody life in this vessel, in this physical time and space, when you become completely 100% responsible for keeping yourself on task and in, allowing yourself to focus on your own true north and not letting yourself be persuaded or dissuaded or distracted by anyone else's compass, that's when you're really winning. And that's when you can truly form a beautiful relationship with your internal compass, with your inner guidance, and allow that inner guidance to connect and integrate into your day-to-day. Because then when you're able to do that, you will be less fazed when things go wrong. You will not be as distracted or disturbed when obstacles and challenges show up, because you will know that as long as you stay on task, right, and on target, you will find your way out of whatever situation you are facing. Okay, that is my motivational speech for today. I hope that was helpful. I really appreciate everyone being here. Please feel free to spread the word to anyone else who you think may benefit from watching the show. Go to YouTube on Jumpstart for Change. Please subscribe to my channel. And as I said, spread the word, like, comment, share, all the business, and ding the notifications so that you know when I am going to be on air. I'm here, generally speaking, every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.